Hello, everyone. Welcome back to the podcast. I thought it was about time to do a refreshed and updated current obsessions, current favorite list because the last one I had to double check. It was over a year ago. It was in June 2024. And I'm constantly trying new products and switching up my routines, the different skincare products that I like, not so much on my face, but body-wise, supplements, food, just trying different things. I just as a guinea pig being the researcher that I am. And I also get sent a lot of products, so there might be some similarities from last year, but there's definitely some new products that I have really been loving and I wanted to share with you all today. I've split them into different categories. We've got food, we've got drinks, fitness, what I'm up to. This is also just a chance for me to catch you up a little bit and share what types of meals that I'm eating and my workouts. Then there's a skincare and personal care section, and then a general one and some book recommendations. I have fallen off the wagon a bit with my reading of fiction books. Last year there was a lot of thriller books featured, and if you want to listen to that episode, by the way, it is number 225, and you can watch along on YouTube or listen on Spotify, Apple, whatever you're on right now. Go back and listen to that one, but it's time for a renewed one. So let's get into it. The first category is going to be food, things like snacks, protein powders. So in terms of protein powders, I'm pretty sure these were featured last time because it's very hard to find a good protein powder in my opinion. There is one that I want to try and I might actually reach out to a company to see if I can try it out. It's the company Organized Nutrition. I'm seeing them quite a lot on social media, and that is made with things like beef organ blend and colostrum, honey and dates. So right up my street, whole food ingredients, and it just looks like a proper superfood packed blend. And when I talk about superfoods, it's not spirulina and chlorella, it's like beef liver and egg yolks. So if I try that one, I will share on Instagram, let you know my thoughts, but I am pretty fussy when it comes to protein powders and find it is hard to do a good one. So the two main ones that I use are the Equip beef protein. Really love that one. The chocolate and vanilla flavors are amazing. In the US, you can order directly from Equip, but in the UK, they are available on Health, which is really good. My discount code is in the link below in the show notes. And then the other one I've been using for years and years, it's the Nuzest protein powder that is plant-based, pea protein powder. And I personally use the Smooth Vanilla, the clean lean protein that is available on the Natural Dispensary. The links to my dispensary account are in the show notes as well, or just order directly from them if you prefer. And I, in winter, fell off my protein smoothie breakfast and was just craving something warm and savory. So I got into making chicken soup and I used lentils or beans, and then I found that using lentil pasta actually made it like a nice minestrone soup. And the first thing in the morning it was great, but then during the summer and the heat waves it just felt too hot. I was sweating at the end of breakfast and it just wasn't a vibe. So I've since switched to eggs, or I might have a piece of meat, or I sometimes have a protein smoothie. Again, just depends on how I'm feeling. But it's, yeah, either the Equip protein or the Nuzest protein. Give them a try and let me know your thoughts. For protein bars, I still love the Pulsin protein boosters if you're in the UK. And these are made with pea protein again. And the favorite flavor of mine is the chocolate orange one. I also love the chocolate chip and vanilla, the, what is it, raspberry and chocolate chip, and there's a salted caramel one. All of those are really good. I'm not so much into the chocolatey ones, but the chocolate orange doesn't taste that chocolatey. They're made with peanuts and some really nice ingredients, so they're still a fave. I probably have one every single day. They have 12 grams of protein in, so it's a nice little protein boost, and they don't have soy protein or anything like that, trying to avoid, and they don't have a ton of sugar like a lot of the other ones on the market. And then snacky wise, I'm not a huge snacker, but then I've just been on a trip and someone commented that I just have a ton of snacks. So I tend to just save them in the cupboard, and then when I go on a trip, I'll just have all of the snacks for in the car, or just in case I'm out and about and I can't find any quality food, I'll just have a few snacks instead. So my go-tos are Marmite nuts. I didn't think that I was into Marmite, and I don't know what actual Marmite tastes like, but the Marmite nuts that I get from Sainsbury's, I think they're in most supermarkets though, are pretty amazing. And the cashew ones are so much better than the peanuts. But you get about a handful of nuts in a bag. So it's not a massive amount for what you're paying, but they are seriously addictive. My friend Cassie told me about them originally, and then I also became hooked, and I'm spreading the word. So you need to try them, even if you don't think you like Marmite, just try them. They're like a nice yeasty, meaty taste, and cashews are just always a winner, in my opinion. And then some other things. So from Holland and Barrett, they kind of have some decent things in there. Not so much the supplements, but the products. And they have these roasted and salted protein mix, which is lentils that are roasted. I think there's some other like fava beans or something in there. But I've seen other brands do this, but they are roasting them with sunflower oil. These are completely free of seed oils, which is good. And the flavor is really nice of the salt and vinegar ones. They do a sour cream and chive too. They're good, but I really love the salt and vinegar. I just miss a really strong flavor. I used to love salt and vinegar crisp, so these are a nice alternative, and they've got a bit of protein in there as well. And then other snacks are the Seriously Pig snacking cheeses. I've now tried the plain flavor, caramelized onion and truffle, and the rosemary. I don't know if there's many more flavors, but all of them are really nice. And you're getting a good hit of protein again. You don't get, I wish there was triple the amount that you get in the serving, but I guess it's cheese at the end of the day, so we don't want to be eating a block of cheese at every snack. But these are really nice if you can tolerate dairy. It's like an Italian hard cheese, and they roast them, and they have very clean, minimal ingredients. So that is a good option. And then chocolate wise, I'm not a massive chocolate lover just because I couldn't really handle a lot of it back when my histamine issues were really bad. So I just fell out of the habit of eating it regularly. But now that I can tolerate some again, it's still going to be the Hu chocolate, HU. They're also available on Health and also some supermarkets. My Sainsbury's does them. And the cashew butter or the hazelnut butter is my favorite, or the salted one. And the other brand that I love is the Bar pistachio cream. I don't know if it's different for the bar, like the long bar shape versus the flat one. There's two different types, but the one with the creamy melty center of pistachio cream is unreal. And I stocked up on a few of them the other day in Waitrose. They also do them in some health food shops, so have a look out for those. If you're a pistachio lover, these are phenomenal. And especially if you have them a little bit melty. I had them after being in the car for a few hours, and it was a hot day and they just went a little bit melty. I don't feel like chocolate is the same when it's been cooled or in the fridge. So keep it out and then enjoy it. And it's such a melting your mouth type chocolate. I need to try the other flavors. I've tried matcha actually. I think the matcha one's pretty good as well. And just food wise in general, I have been experimenting a little bit more with that savory breakfast. Do feel like that has made a massive difference. And I wasn't even feeling bad. I just feel better eating a savory breakfast. And the other thing that I've tried is having a larger breakfast and then a smaller dinner. I do change this up around my cycle because I feel like in my luteal phase where I'm at now, a few days out before my period, I do need a bigger dinner because we have a harder time during that phase to stabilize our blood sugar. So the rest of the month after my period, follicular ovulation phase, I might have a smaller dinner and I might have it a bit earlier, say 5:30, 6 p.m. But then in the luteal phase, just because I don't want to be fasting then until 8 a.m. the next day when I have my breakfast, it's just quite a long time. I will have a bit of a later dinner around 7 p.m., slightly bigger, still 3 hours before I go to bed. But that is just supporting my body and not adding some extra stress that's unnecessary to my system. Oh, and I missed another product that I love. Don't think I mentioned it last time, but it's the brand Organifi, also available on Health if you're in the UK. Buy them directly if you're in the US. Health do loads of great products. They do protein powders, never tried them. I've tried the green powders. I've tried the it's like a it's like a golden milk style blend. Forgot the name of it. But that's good. And then my favorite of all time is the Harmony hot chocolate. It's just such a good quality. It's like a supplement. It's like a supplemental functional drink. And it's got some really nice herbs and adaptogens in there, and the quality of the cacao is really good. So having that every now and again in the evening, especially in winter, is really, really enjoyable. So check them out. Drinks, the main things that I drink are water, some herbal teas. The main ones that I go for are Tulsi tea, also called Holy Basil, and the brand is Pukka. Not a lot of companies do Holy Basil or Tulsi tea, but Pukka do. You might need to buy it online though. I also drink matcha once or twice a day, and my favorite brands at the moment are Pure Chimp, Perfect Head, and on Amazon, there's one called Natural Bio Matcha. If you just search organic ceremonial grade matcha, that is what you want to be looking for, but they're still not all created equal. Some taste really bitter or really swampy, algae like. So these ones I have vetted and I know that they taste good, and this is what matcha should be like. It should be bright green in colour and not sweet, not these blends that have a ton of sweeteners in there. Ideally, you can sweeten them yourself if you need to, but these three brands are really good. I still love, as like a fun fizzy drink that's got good ingredients, the brand First, who kindly sponsored my event back in May and October last year. They sent some products out for the guests. Perfect Head did as well. Love that company. Coffee wise, still really like King Coffee, and my other go-to is the London Nootropics brand, and they have 3 or 4 different types. And my personal favorite, I like the yellow one, which I think is I forgot the name. I think it's Focus. And then the Flow one is the purple sachet. I really enjoyed those, and we'll probably have one coffee, maybe two in the day. And my go-to electrolyte is the Element electrolyte for flavor. The watermelon salt is the best, in my humble opinion. They have loads of flavors though. Apparently the chocolate one is nice, but I'm not really willing to try that just in case I don't like it. I want to stick with the watermelon. And in summer, quenching your thirst with a big bottle of watermelon electrolytes is just unbeatable. They're available on Health too for like a lot of products, a lot of the good stuff. The American brands, especially if you're in the UK and you're hearing about all of these wellnessy brands, they're probably on Health, to be fair. There is another electrolyte that I use quite commonly with clients, and we did give out samples in my goodie bag at the event, but it's the Seeking Health brand. That's a bit more for a therapeutic level. When clients of mine have low electrolyte levels, I'm probably going to get them on the Seeking Health one. And they have a lemonade flavor, berry, orange, or plain, and that is just going to boost levels way more than Element. But Element's a nice general day-to-day one. If you're not really sure what's going on with your electrolytes, or your sodium and potassium are actually fine, but you just want to support yourself through summer or around your menstrual cycle or in times that you're exercising. And I think that's about it for, oh, my other favorite thing in the past few months, I've been raving about it on Instagram a few times, is creatine. And I make a supercharged matcha every day. So it's one of those matcha powders that I recommended. A scoop of collagen. I like the Planet Paleo Pure Collagen, or the Ancient and Brave Collagen, or Auto Organics is a good one. So a teaspoon of matcha, a tablespoon of collagen, a scoop or 1 teaspoon of creatine powder, probably a 1/4 teaspoon of Ceylon cinnamon, Ceylon. That's the one with the therapeutic benefits. I get mine from Amazon. And then I blend mainly raw milk, but I do a little bit of some plant-based milk as well, just for another texture and flavor. I get tiger nut milk from a local health food store, so it's just blended tiger nuts. That's a little bit sweet and nutty and a bit starchy. I like that. or it's coconut milk or cashew milk, just for a slightly nuttier flavor. I like that with a matcha, but otherwise it's mainly raw organic milk. And I have that and just having extra nutrients in, a bit of protein, a bit of blood sugar stabilization. I'm getting my creatine in for muscle recovery, brain function. I've done a recent episode, I think, on a Q&A, and then I answered questions about creatine because it has so many benefits and I just didn't ever look into it. And then I tried it and I'm just shouting from the rooftops the benefits of it now because it's so good. I just want to check, are you addressing the healing foundations? Not sure what I mean. Well, these are the important factors that I believe that you need to address in order to be in optimal health and overcome your stubborn health issues and symptoms, whether that's chronic digestive issues, acne, hair loss, period problems, weight gain, anxiety, fatigue. I could go on. Because I want as many of you as possible to have this life-changing information, I've bundled together 6 of my juiciest and info-packed masterclasses priced at just £111. Not only are you getting these recordings, which are between 60 and 90 minutes long each, on the following subjects: the power of the subconscious mind, stress, trauma, and the nervous system, supporting your female menstrual cycle, mastering your metabolism, optimizing sleep, gut health and detox. You're also going to receive my healthy groceries shopping list and my favorite non-toxic products guide, which are both usually reserved for my one-to-one clients. Whether you're brand new to the holistic healing world or you've been trying to work on things for a while but feel stuck, I can guarantee there's something within this content that will help you to understand your next steps and what you're missing. Sometimes it's something so foundational that's being overlooked. Get instant access to the Foundations bundle today for just £111 by clicking the link in the episode show notes, and I can't wait to hear about what you've learned. Grab your pen and paper to make notes and get started today. Fitness-wise, things are looking pretty similar. The only recent addition, I'm talking last week, I tried it for the first time in years, is me introducing a yoga class into my routine, which is very unlike me. It used to be something that I did all the time, and I actually did just yoga for a phase because I couldn't tolerate anything else. And even that yoga class at times, it was just too much when I had chronic fatigue and dizziness. Doing the sun salutations, I'd just almost pass out. And this was a class that was filled with old people, and I was really struggling to do it, but it served me for a while. But then as I started to get better, I think my brain just associated it with me being sick, and that's all I could do. So when I could start strength training again and doing something more intense like Pilates, I completely swapped to that and ditched the yoga. I was also unaware that I had hypermobility at the time, so I was really good at yoga, but I was starting to get joint pain. But I now know how to do it without hyperextending my joints and causing inflammation, and my body is just less inflamed in general. And I'm only going to be doing it once a week. There's a class just started at my local gym, so I get it included in my membership, and it's on a Monday evening, so I'm going to start going to that again and just being open to trying new things again. Because for a while I was just like, I'm not a yoga person anymore, I love Pilates, and thinking I had to choose between the two, or I had to do yoga 3 times a week, but I can just do yoga once or twice a month. It can just be something that I incorporate. And I did a class and I actually really enjoyed it. I was pretty good at it, to be fair. I feel like Pilates, that style of training does have a crossover, and it benefited me doing that for a few years now. But I do need a bit more stretching out. I can get some tension in my back and my shoulders and my neck. And it just felt really good because I was already sore from the gym. So that's a nice hour-long stretch class, but there's still some strength. The instructor seems really good. So who knows, I might be a yogi again. When I'm not training at the gym, and my current schedule is still twice a week mat Pilates, 45 minutes at my local gym with my friend and instructor Katie, called by Katie. She's taught at my workshops, and we've also done a few collabs on Instagram before. So that's twice a week mat Pilates. Love that still. And then probably 3 times a week I'm aiming to go to the gym for a strength session. I'll probably do upper body, lower body, and then a full body. And then I might do 1 class a week with a friend. Could be bar class, reformer. Those have been maybe some new additions. Yeah, I don't think I did bar last year, but sadly the studio that I was going to block in Manchester that did bar has shut down. So I'm trying to find a new bar class nearby. Really enjoyed that one. That was the best workout that I've done in a long time because it's Pilates style, but it's also a bit more fiery and a bit more cardio, and it pushed me more than I was doing. And I just loved the vibe of that studio. So if anyone knows any bar classes in Manchester or in the area that you would recommend, let me know because I'm looking for one. I've also recently tried infrared Pilates. I did enjoy that one, but I do have an infrared sauna myself, so I don't really need that extra added level. But I do love, that's one of my favorite hobbies, is going to a workout class in a bougie gym and then having lunch afterwards. And when I am looking for a workout at home, there's the well-known Pilates people like what's her name? Move with Nicole or Yoga with Adrian. They do some Pilates, or Melissa Wood Health and Bryony Deary. They're really good. I also like someone called Madeline Abid. She has some good workouts, and I might throw one of them on once a week and do a little 20-minute at-home session, but I do prefer to not work out at home when I can help it. For my skincare, things have stayed pretty similar in terms of my face because I don't like to switch things up because I now have clear skin and struggled for over 10 years with acne. And if I find something that works, I try not to stray from that. If you want to see what my skincare regime is, I do have an Instagram that I will link, a reel from a while ago, and it shows the different steps there. But it is a double cleanse. So I do a micellar water, a second cleanse with the CeraVe, the green one. I think it's for normal skin or dry skin. That's just a nice gentle cleanser for a second cleanse. And then I'll do niacinamide serum the majority of the time by the Inky List. I sometimes do the snail mucin serum by CosRx a couple of times a week on top of that for extra hydration. I might back off in summer just so I'm not using so many products when it's hot. Once or twice a week, I'll use a retinol. You can find the brand that I use in the reel, and then a moisturizer. It's just the ordinary natural moisturizing factors with hyaluronic acid. I am still on the lookout for a non-toxic sunscreen because last year I'd recommended the Tropic Facial Sunday UV, I think it's called, but when I was using it again in summer, at the start of summer, I noticed I was getting some more breakouts, and I very quickly realized that it's from the sunscreen because I was wearing that more, and that's the only thing that had changed. I checked the ingredients, and apparently they'd reformulated since last time I used it, and they now have a bunch of coconut ingredients in there, which my skin does not like. So I had to return that and find a new one. So still looking for that, but my foundation powder by Tropic has some SPF in, so that's why I wear every day the mineral powder. And there is also a mineral powder that I use with like a little brush thing that I can top up with as well. That's a really nice feature when you're out and about. Maybe you've got some makeup on and you need some extra SPF. Instead of putting more liquid SPF and sunscreen on, it's the Supergoop brand, the Resetting 100% Mineral Powder. I really like that product and it doesn't aggravate my skin, which is good. For pimple patches, I'm a big fan of these if I ever have a breakout, just to stop myself picking and to get all of the gunk out and let it heal faster. Swear by these, and pimple patches aren't all created equal. If you see them little star-shaped ones, they just don't work. The ones that I have repurchased multiple times, some of the best ones, and I've tried a lot, are the brand Real, Rael, on Amazon. I think it's a Korean skincare brand, and you get quite a lot in a pack. They're a little bit pricey compared to others, but they really work. The other few things, skincare, personal care wise, some favorites, I have repurchased the Kosas creamy concealer Again, I've had a few of those now. Just recently repurchased, really like that one. The Creamy Concealer, that's a non-toxic brand and it works really good. For general day-to-day skincare and help to keep my skin nice and fresh and clear is the Bon Charge LED face mask. Love it, I've got it right here. I will aim to use this for 15 to 20 minutes 3 to 5 times a week. And it really does make a massive difference. I had a before and after picture on my Instagram and I didn't change anything else because I wanted to see the results as well with things like this. And this one is really, really good. You can move around the house with it. Sometimes I'll just be pottering around, washing the dishes with this on my face. And I can very clearly see less inflammation, less redness, less irritation, less breakouts when I'm using it consistently. So I'll put the link to my Bun Charge code in there. You get 20% off, I think. And I think they have a current sale on, or it might be ending soon. So just look out for that. They have sales on throughout the year. And the last thing is toothpaste. I have struggled to find good toothpaste. Some of the natural ones are very chalky, pasty, don't feel like you've cleaned your teeth thoroughly. So a good one is by Gutology. It's the mineral toothpaste in a blue tube. And just love their brand in general. I was on the podcast. They have a really good podcast, the Gutology podcast. I was on the podcast a few weeks ago. So if you want to listen to that, it's a big 90-minute episode chatting about a bunch of things like hormones, gut health, periods, cycle syncing, mold toxicity, detox. So if you like this podcast, you'll like my episode on there. And it was fun being on the other side of the microphone. And it was actually an in-person interview, the first one that I've ever done. So I hope you enjoy. And the general category, a few things on here for meditations. My go-to at the moment is the Mindspo app. I went to a Mindspo retreat in May in Cyprus, and just we got access to that app whilst we were there, and then I've just stayed using that ever since. They have really nice meditations on there, visualizations. They have a mind movie section, or a manifesting movie they're called, and you can create your own or you can use the ones that they've recorded. So it's like a vision board, but a video style one. And the founders, Rochelle and Chris, are just lovely. I interviewed Rochelle on my podcast a few weeks ago, episode 281. So that's her company, and she is just really good at what she's done. They've been in the meditation industry for about 10 years, so they've really made some good, effective tracks on there, and I know you're gonna love it. I am still doing my EFT tapping. I have slipped a little bit with my daily routines. My life has changed quite significantly in the month of July, so you will probably hear about that soon. But up until then, I was on it with my routines. I was meditating twice daily. I was doing deep inner work, and it all paid off. And now I haven't listened to a podcast in weeks and weeks. I haven't meditated in a while, and I'm not mad about it. I'm living my life. I'm loving my life. Really great things are happening, and I will update you very soon. But this just shows it with the personal development work. There's a time to be in it, and it does serve a purpose, but it doesn't have to be your life. Living your life and having fun. There's a quote that's going viral on social media at the moment. Sometimes the most spiritual thing that you can do is to have fun. So I really took that to heart, and I am practicing what I preach with that right now. But I still do EFT tapping at least once a day just to guide me, and if I'm stressed about anything, just to bring me down and bring my stress levels down. Still spending less time on my phone. Still loving the Bon Charge red light glasses, just wear those as I'm watching TV or a YouTube video or on my phone in the evening, but I'm just on my phone less these past few weeks especially. Another thing in the past year that I've tried and love is the CGM from the company Lingo. It's similar to the Levels one in the US, but this is for people within the UK. It's just harder to get that one over here. But the app is just a lot more user friendly than the original ones that are meant for people with diabetes. This one is more for health optimization. So the app just shows you how your blood sugar is fluctuating with meals. You can log your food. It's just easier to navigate. So the company Lingo, it's really good. You can get a 2 week trial for around like less than £100. And I did one of the experiments earlier this year and things were looking really good. So I didn't spend much time analyzing the data because it just was so much better than previous years. I just had no idea what was going on my blood sugar a few years ago. I'd eat the most healthy meal and it was spiking through the roof and crashing. And it was just so stressful and confusing. Whereas this time it was just pretty boring, which was good. I'd rather have that problem that nothing really was going on. But the little 2 week trial can help you gain some insight as to what's going on. And with the CGMs, I recommend with the 2 weeks, doing the first week, your regular meals, your regular schedule, try not to change anything, document what you're eating, how you're feeling, not just relying on the numbers. How are you feeling after meals too? Do you feel sleepy? Do you feel energized? Do you feel bloated? And then use the second week to try and recreate the positive meals and positive results that you had. You might not be able to get it exactly the same because there's so many variables with blood sugar, stress, sleep deprivation, where you're at in your menstrual cycle can influence it. But if you notice this one breakfast that you had worked really well, can you try and recreate that again in week 2 and see if you can get more of a positive shift in this experiment? But you might need longer than that. I tend to do a check-in once or twice a year. So maybe towards the end of this year, I'll do another one. But Lingo is my go-to brand at the moment. And then for book recommendations, I think I've only read in the past year one series of a fiction book, and it was the Chestnut Spring series, which is a little bit spicy, not gonna lie. And it's a cowboy themed romance book. And there's a few different ones. I think I'm on the 3rd book now, but I've just fallen off it a little bit. And I was reading that on my Kindle, still love my Kindle, have a lot of books on there still to read. But I've read more personal development books again, whereas last year it was a lot of fiction, not so much personal development. So my favourites from what I've read in the past year, these might not have come out in the past year. Then the Surrender Experiment, for example, came out years ago, but I've only just got round to reading that. Love that one. A book called Show Up As Her by Cece. She is quite well known on social media. She has a really good account and the book is actually really good. One called Outsmarting Reality by a guy called Nero who is quite good on YouTube. I love his videos. He came out with this book this year. The Power of the Subconscious Mind. I reread that all the time. It's probably the 3rd time I've read it. Classic in the subconscious mindset world. One called A Journey to the Heart, which is really nice, and it gives you a little story or a little inspirational message for each day of the year. And I'm only halfway through, with it being July when I'm recording this, August when you're listening, but I'm really loving it so far and I can't wait to finish it off. One that was recommended by my client and friend, Charlie, who I went to the Joe Dispenza retreat with. She was also single at the same time as me, and she recommended a book called Single Pringle. And I really like that one. It's just a woman, I think she was a podcaster, this Australian lady, and she had explored a lot of the holistic practices. She references Joe Dispenza in there. So I was like, I'm sold. I like this girl. And it was about embracing being single. And that just really served me at the time. And it's just a really nice book. And then the last one is the book Magnetic by Rochelle Fox, who is the founder of Mindspo, the meditation app and the retreats company that I went to. And she was on the podcast again, if you want to listen to it. Really nice overview of things like visualization and EFT tapping and limiting beliefs. So highly recommend that one. So those are all my current favorites. I would love to know if you also enjoy any of these things or if there's anything you're into, if we like similar things. I'm always looking to try new products. Actually, one of my favorite things is when clients bring recommendations to me, like the book or snack or something, and I really enjoy it. So please share what you're into with me at the moment. If there's any cool new supplements or cool new products out there that you've tried and you think that I would love, that would be amazing. And if you have any recommendations or requests for podcast episodes, you can always send me a DM over on Instagram. I'm at Viva Natural Health, or you can send me an email. That's enquiries at vivanaturalhealth.co.uk. I hope you enjoy the rest of your day, whatever you're up to, and I'll see you back here next week for another episode.